Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the Little Nightmares 3 demo, which is so exciting because we are only days away from this game coming out officially. And my plushie friend of the day is Luna. She is adorable. I actually have a black cat named Luna. She's in there with my other cat Gojo and my golden retriever Maple. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys my plushie friend for this video. I wanted to talk about the Little Nightmares 3 demo because I got a chance to play it and I'm just really excited about it. I love the Little Nightmares series. I love the ambiguity that comes along with it. I love all the theories. I love how it sparks so much discussion within the fandom. It was something that I was late to the party to because I was in college whenever Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2 came out, and so I did not have time to really play video games while I was in school. I neglected my Switch during my time at school, and if I played anything, I would briefly play like Animal Crossing or something like that, but I didn't really get to play other video games that I really wanted to play and enjoy, just because like I said, I didn't have the time to do that. And so I didn't actually start playing Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2 until late 2022, early 2023. I bought Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2, the bundle on Switch. It was on sale. Honestly, I will say I did beat both of those games on the Switch, but playing it on the Switch isn't really like the greatest experience, honestly. I played the Little Nightmares 3 demo on the Switch as well. I did struggle with some like glitchiness going on and stuff too, but I think that I will be playing Little Nightmares 3 probably on PlayStation or Xbox. I'm not really sure which one I want to get it for. I played the other Little Nightmares games on PlayStation, and I did not run into the same kind of glitchiness that happened whenever I was playing it on the Switch. Now, I do want to get Little Nightmares 3 for the Switch eventually, but for the sake of like experiencing the game as smoothly as possible, I think I want to either play it on PlayStation or Xbox. Again, not sure which. I'll let you guys know whenever I choose it. But I do want to get it on the Switch just so I can have it handheld, because I can play Little Nightmares or Little Nightmares 2 anytime I want if I travel somewhere, and I can deal with the glitchiness. But after playing it on PlayStation, Xbox, it was a much smoother experience. I did not struggle as much. I thought that I was really I'm not like the best gamer, and honestly, like I don't game to be the best, I just game to have fun. And so I thought that I was just like extremely terrible at everything, and turns out no, when I played it on something else, it actually wasn't that bad of an experience, and I was able to enjoy it a lot more, and I wasn't getting frustrated. But I will eventually get it for the Switch, because I'm sure that it will go on sale at some point, because if Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are always going on sale, like it's gonna happen eventually to Little Nightmares 3. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of talk about the beginning of the demo. Little Nightmares, I also have notes here, that's why I'm looking down. Little Nightmares always starts with some kind of nightmare vision type thing. 6 in the original Little Nightmares game has the vision of the lady, and then she wakes up. And then Mono in Little Nightmares 2 has the vision of the hall that's leading to the Thin Man, and then he wakes up. And I myself have not played very Little Nightmares, so I can't really like speak too much on that experience. I do watch other creators that have made content on that, but I just have not played that game for myself. There's also the comics and the podcast, which I loved the podcast whenever that came out. It had me in a chokehold. It was really good. It definitely added in some context or clues that kind of tie everything together. Not really tie everything together, but just kind of made the universe as a whole make a little bit more sense and answered some questions. But yes, we start the demo with Lo having his vision, and we just see the mirror. It's not really clear, and then he wakes up and alone helps him get up, and he has some sort of map, and then they begin their journey. And I just think that this is really interesting because Six's vision and Mono's vision was pretty clear of like what they were like leading to, like what they were going to face at the end. And so I'm wondering if the mirror is, it's a bit more ambiguous because like it's not, you don't really like see a person or like a monster kind of like with the others. But I'm wondering if the mirror is who we are going to see at the end. I wonder if it's the mirror monster that is in the uncanonized comics, or who knows? I don't know. It's more ambiguous. It doesn't really kind of answer any questions. I mean, Little Nightmares is always leading to more questions rather than answering them in general. I just thought that that was like really interesting because when we reflect back on Six's and Mono's vision, it's very clear who it is. With Lo's vision, it's just like not as clear as theirs, if that makes sense. And yeah, and we're just not really sure how long Lo and Alone have been together at this point, navigating through the nowhere. And I'm just wondering if the game is going to provide context. So the demo ends with Lo, and this demo seemed very heavy on like focusing on Lo's lore and backstory, and it ends with him being trapped in a room, kind of like solitary confinement-ish, and he wakes up, he's hearing noises outside. Whoever the monster is that's in charge of this place that he seems to have found himself in, and he hides underneath his bed, and we just see the shadow of whatever monster it is that's looking through the little like eye thing on the door. And then it ends, and honestly I was like, it ended, that was such a good place to end, because it just leaves you wanting more. And I always think that the Little Nightmares stories, all of the games, like the comics, the podcast, how they deliver it is always wanting you to have more, and I think that they just do that so well. And so I'm really glad that the wait isn't too far off, because then we're going to get more context, more clues, more information, and this community is going to start cooking with theories again. And it is October, so that just makes it even better, and I'm so excited to see where they go with this. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the mechanics in the game and kind of like how everything was going. So Little Nightmares is always usually starting out pretty slow. They do really good work of world building and you kind of getting the vibe and feel of like, oh, this is progressively getting a little bit creepier, a little bit more unsettling. And I felt like they, especially since we know that Tarsier is no longer doing it, Supermassive Games is the one that's doing this and continuing the Little Nightmares legacy. It definitely felt like, I applaud them. I think that they did a fantastic job. It feels so Little Nightmares. It doesn't feel like they are trying to, like, they are their own entity, but they are honoring what Tarsier did, and I really admire that and respect that, and I'm excited for like what they're going to contribute into this story. And I just really love that, you know, you feel kind of not necessarily safe at the beginning, but like you kind of feel like, okay, like I can breathe a little bit. And then you start kind of seeing, you know, like the statues of the people. And again, I've seen another creator talk about like, oh, like could this be the work of the North Wind, which was also in the uncanonized comics. I'm not really into kind of like theorizing hardcore-ish, because I like to kind of observe and see and then formulate my thoughts. So this isn't really like a theory video. This is just kind of my observations and just me being excited and talking about it. But I loved the pacing. I think the new mechanics are interesting. Of course, I played the demo on the Switch, so it was a little bit difficult with the umbrella mechanic, or like the part where you have to like go on the rope and swing, like go down the line rope. But I chose to play as alone only because Lo has the bow and arrow and I'm not very good at aiming and doing stuff like that, so I just wanted to be alone with like the wrench hammer and be like ah, bah, 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 bah. But I think the mechanics that they added of, you know, the teamwork, and it's different than Little Nightmares 2 because like Mono could occasionally use a weapon to kind of help in the situation, but 6 did not have a weapon, so there wasn't this like active teamwork that was going on. It was just two kids trying to like survive, and then sometimes 6 would go off and like, you know, whenever Mono was gonna go attack the one of those creepy doll children, but then 6 was like and she just went and did that on her own. So it's a different dynamic, because these two clearly are working together, and I think that is like a really cool thing that they added, because so far we've just kind of seen how teamwork has not worked in the favor of these children so far in this series, which breaks my heart because I love both Mono and 6, and maybe I'll make a video talking about their dynamics sometime, because I know that there are people who like, they very thoroughly hate 6, and I can understand that viewpoint, but I just love I love Mono and 6. I love them both so much. And, you know, multiple things can be true at the same time, and I think that a lot of the times we have a lot of very black and white thinking whenever it comes to characters, or in general with like anything in life. And I kind of factor in a lot of things and can still find room to like these characters. But yes, I liked the dynamic of working together, both of them having their own respective weapons, and I gotta say, the room with the beetles definitely caught me off guard because I was not expecting for us to have to combat kind of in that way, as Little Nightmares has never really been that kind of game. I mean, I know that Mono faces off the Thin Man, you know, and 6 faces the lady, and Mono does have to, you know, kind of fight with Monster 6, but it's like it wasn't like, I don't know, it was a little bit different, and it kind of took me like a second to kind of realize, oh, this is what's going on. Lo is like shooting the bug, and I gotta go like squash the bug. Yeah, it took me a second, but I was like, oh, this is a really interesting dynamic. I thought it was cool. I definitely am glad that I chose to play as alone, because I just do not think that I am very good with like the whole aiming type thing. I really enjoyed this demo. The giant creepy baby was something, and I'm just excited to be able to see it in all of its glory whenever the full game comes out. And I just want to know, like, what do you guys think about, what did you think about the demo if you played it? If you have any theories, like, I would love to hear what you think so far. Again, I love engaging in the theories and stuff, but I'm not really kind of someone who initiates a theory, because I like to kind of stay in the ambiguity, and I want to know more before I kind of start formulating my own theories. But yeah, that being said, I thought that the demo was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And I'm just so excited to see where they take this Little Nightmares story. I'm so excited to see. We saw the necropolis first, of course, but we know that we're getting the carnival, the candy factory, or I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'm just excited to see how creative they get with this, what new elements they implement to make it stand alone. I really am looking forward to getting more lore slash backstory on Lo, but also Alone. I hope that they gave room to kind of tell us her story as well. Will you be playing Little Nightmares 3? Let me know, and goodbye from me and Luna, and see you guys next time.